नमः श्री यतिराजाय विवेकानंद सूरये सच्चित् सुखस्वरूपाय स्वामिने तापहारिणे ओम असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतंगमय ओम शांति शांति शांति। श्री रमेश वेमुगंटी, श्री कंपा नागेश्वरराव गारू and Sri Balram K. Varanasi. My namaskars and greetings to all these people and thank them for inviting me for sharing some thoughts on Vivekananda lessons on modern management. I convey my namaskars, greetings and prayers to all the members present here. A warm greetings and a good evening to my young friends. It's indeed an honor and a privilege to participate in the meeting of HMA, the Hyderabad Management Association. In the last few hours of 2011, and to take a big leap in 2012 as far as our approach to modern management is concerned. It is nicely thought out, the timing is excellent, and it is time for us to take stock of what exactly we have done in the last 363 days. This is very, very important today. It is not just taking stock on 31st of March and try to adjust the accounts this way or that way. We need to take stock today, as Mr. Ramesh pointed out, almost every day. At every situation, what exactly I am doing, what exactly we are doing, and what is the purpose of our doing. The success of any great organization, the bedrock of any great organization is the purpose. Lack of this purpose is weakening the building. The foundation is getting stuck up. So let us work on the foundations. Let us go back to the basics of life. In our enthusiasm, we have conquered many peaks. We have conquered many rivers, many oceans. Man has sent the first man to the moon. India has sent the Chandrayaan to the moon. And wonders are happening in science and technology. The whole world has become a global village. Tons and tons of information comes to our computers or desktops by the click of the mouse. But at the same time, as rightly pointed out Mr. Ramesh, is the paradox. We have conquered outer space, but we have failed to conquer inner space. We have sent the first man to the moon, but we have difficulty in crossing the street or shaking hands with faith and love with our neighbor. We have high incomes today, but more diverses. We have fancier homes, but few families. We have n number of doctors, but the diseases are the same. We have high incomes and low morals. We have solved one problem, but creating 5 problems. India is going one step forward, but at the same time, tomorrow morning, another sensational news comes that we have gone back 5 steps. There are problems created by my own mind, and there are problems created by the society. There are the centripetal forces, there are centrifugal forces. Our life has become like a football. So on the one hand is the presentation or the contribution of science and technology making us comfortable, making us to lead a happy or just a day-to-day life. But when we speak of management, when we speak about Swami Vivekananda and our culture and our traditions and taking the nation forward, which should be the purpose of every one of us. I am recollecting a small story which comes in our Puranas, which is very, very relevant today in 21st century India. The story is of Samudra Manthana, the churning of the Milky Ocean by the Asuras and the Devas. It is so true today. It's not just somewhere down the earth, some Purana Kathakatha. It is happening in Hyderabad right at this moment. The churning is going on. What it went on in millennium. What was the goal of the Devas and the Asuras? Why did they take up this task? Suddenly they had a desire. Let us become immortal. Let us conquer the whole nature. The positive and the negative forces had the same purpose, same desire. Then their gurus, Brihaspati and Shukracharya, say, my dear children, it is not so easy to become all-powerful and immortal. You have to drink amritam, nectar. And that amritam is not available in any mall. You have to do hard work and get it as a gift at the bed of the ocean. And for once the two forces, the Devas and the Asuras, come to understanding, come to a consensus and start churning the Milky Ocean. And what do they get? Today what we call the byproducts. So many Ratnas, Uchchaishravas, Mahalakshmi, Kalpataru, Airavatam, Dhanvantri, so on and so forth. They come out as gift because of their hard work. But neither the two armies, the Devas and the Asuras, are interested in the byproducts, because their goal is much higher to take Amritam. They continue churning, and something unexpected happens because they were using the Vasuki, the serpent, as the churning rope, and that was emitting poison. And as it was emitting poison, it got mixed up with the ocean, with the atmosphere. And today what is called the global warming, the environmental pollution took place at that time. It is not today's problem, it was that problem. And neither the Devas and the Asuras were capable of solving this problem and saving themselves. Once again they go to the Gurus. Shukracharya and Brihaspati say, my dear children, only Mahadeva Shiva can come and save you from this situation. He is deep in meditation in Kailas. Invoke him. And then the churning goes on, the prayer goes on. Mahadeva Shiva comes down from his meditation to the place where the poison is emanating. He drinks the poison. Mahadeva, the infinite personality, the poison quantity is very little and it gets locked up in his throat. And today the whole world hails him as Nilakanta, the blue-throated one. A beautiful name. People are named as Nilakanta. And what is the point there? What is Dushana? A poison for the world became Bhushana, an ornament for the infinite personality. And the world is saved from disaster. And the story says that churning went on and Amritam came out, etc. Now why am I telling this in HMA meeting? What is happening in ISRO? What is happening in NASA? What is happening in Microsoft or in Infosys? What is happening in the street in RTC Crossroad of a man doing business in RTC Crossroad or the multimillionaire? Billions of dollars are invested today in management, in business, in technology, medicine, etc. Man, in spite of disasters, in spite of failures, is not sitting quiet. He is going on churning the ocean. The ocean today is the Prakriti, the atmosphere, the environment. The natural resources are being churned out. And as a hard work, and lot of thinking has gone into them, we have got so many Ratnas. From the desktop, we have now come to the iPad. And many more wonderful things will happen. And somebody told me, by the time we are planning to make India 2020 a developed country, by 2015, an electronic product manufactured in Sony company at 10 o'clock in the morning would be outdated by 5 o'clock in the evening, and India would purchase that. That means the marvel of the human brain, which can produce a gadget and that gets outdated. That is the blessing of science and technology. The gadgets and facilities and transport and so on and so forth. These are the Ratnas. But has man kept quiet? that unsatisfactory nature is producing more and more. As a result, today, nobody denies the fact, and rightly pointed out by Ramesh ji, man is experiencing poison. In the form of animosities, jealousies, hatred, so on and so forth, thrown into the atmosphere without care and without fear. Today it is time for us to analyze what exactly is the purpose of my life. What exactly is the purpose of my business? What exactly is the purpose of my professionalism, my education, my training, my money, my name, my fame, my security? What is the purpose? Lack of purposeless guidance is what students are suffering from, is what the companies are suffering from. We have very limited purpose, very limited goals. We have become frog in the wells today, in spite of science, in spite of technology. Swami Bodhamayananda used to tell the students, it is not just reading science that is important, you should think scientifically. It is not just reading history in a textbook, you should be able to create history. It is not just reading civics and breaking all the civic laws of the country. It is not just purchasing a copy of the Bhagavad Gita and worshipping it in our temple, not practicing the principles of the Bhagavad Gita. So we are going one step forward and trying to think that we are very educated and we are very modern. Swami Vivekananda 1897 in Madras lecture says, it is time for re-educating the educated. Because all the educated people, in a humorous term, he puts it as mustached babies. Look at the language of Swami Vivekananda and the punch that he gives. Mustached babies. Probably that's what I feel whenever I see the Fevicol advertisement. The baby born with a mustache. We have become like that. Moral pygmies, namby-pamby, goody-goody religion. So this is the negative side or the poison that we are affected from. Number of suicides, number of divorces, number of complaints, number of murders, corruption, etc., etc. I keep telling the students, India is not poor anymore. When we see the value of the corruption, the value of the black money in few people's hands. India is not poor in brain power anymore. Because just last week I was in Visakhapatnam addressing 4,000 students in a youth convention in the Port Stadium. The chief guest was Dr. Anna Durai, the project director of Chandrayaan. And to make the Chandrayaan successful, there were 500 brilliant scientists of India working silently for 7 years into 22 hours. At the precise speed of 1.5 seconds, 1.5 kilometers per second speed, the satellite has to go and the rocket has to go and launch the satellite at that precision. Otherwise the moon will go away somewhere else. It would be a waste. But India did it on October 22nd, 2008. And now the second project is being designed. And by 2020 they are planning one Indian to go into the moon. And when the news went to Barack Obama on October 22, 2008, what is the reaction of Barack Obama? He said, it is an awakening call for the American scientists. We have to be careful with India. That means India is conquering the space world. We have got the brain power. We have got the money. We have got the natural resources, the human resources. As all of you know, 65% is youth population. America, Europe, China, and the other eastern countries or western countries, they have a problem of old age people. India is a problem with young people, problem of plenty. What to do with these youngsters? And interestingly, the other side of statistics says, by 2020, developed country, all right, we are aiming for something bigger. But the Time magazine gives a wonderful survey. The problem of India by 2020 will be young, rich, retired Indians, a liability for the country. Young, rich, retired Indians will be living in India. They cannot see, they cannot digest a cup of milk, their cholesterol level is very high, their BP is erratic, there is no bile production, intestinal obstruction, spinal problems, because all the energy has been yena prakarena, somehow or the other quick money has come. I was talking with the principal of engineering college a couple of months ago. He said, what is the situation in Andhra Pradesh? As far as the industry is concerned or as far as the education institutions are concerned. What the industry wants and what the students are getting, there is a big gap like the Pacific Ocean. As a result, there is depression, there is unemployment, and there is so much of chaos. And he said, Yenakena prakarena, somehow or the other get an engineering seat, get an medical seat, get something else. It is just like the Chinese athlete, Olympic champion, getting a gold medal, 1, 2, 3, 4 or 10, by the time age he is 16. And by 20 he is retired. What does he do? He becomes obese, he cannot walk, body is not cooperating, the government will give 5,000 rupees to him and put a tea shop and he will just be living an ordinary life. But what did the nation get? Just a name, a fame at the cost of these young people. Now they are trying to recast their priorities because of the population explosion. But what is the benefit? What is the thing that we have? The foundation, the fort that we have. America has got its own share of problems. We have got our own share of problems. But America or Europe does not have the remedies for the maladies. They have only drugs, they have addiction, they have divorces. We have many centers in the United States. Many people come, and when the Swami asks, are you married? They say, no, we don't want to marry. Whether it's the NRIs there or the Europeans or the Americans, we don't want to marry because the cost of divorce is more than the cost of marriage, so we don't want to marry. That is the societal condition today. But they believe in just living relationship. And the children born out of that relationship are mentally unstable, cerebral palsy. They don't know who the mother is, who the father is. But unfortunately, the dark side of our problem is that kind of wind, that kind of atmosphere has entered into India. That is where the management schools have to recast their priorities and recast their ideology. Can we do something about it to the younger generation or to the people who are earning money? I know of an institution in Chennai. The institution name, the training center name is VXL Group. It's an NGO run by husband and wife, both are doctors. Dr. Vasudha Prakash is the chief. I had a chance to talk to the faculty there who give training to cerebral palsy affected children. And when I went to the NGO, I saw all these children coming in Volkswagens and Skodas and big Boleros, etc. But there is no integration between body and mind. They are seeing somewhere, laughing somewhere, doing something, but they are all children of young, rich people. I asked Dr. Vasudha Prakash, what is this problem? From where is this problem? What is the philosophy? What is the psychology behind this? There are nearly 400 such children. If you go and see, you cannot eat for 10 days. And she said, Swamiji, these young mothers and fathers are playing with nature. They are playing with nature. When the baby is in the womb, they lived a very sensual life. It has affected the womb, baby in the womb itself, and by birth, that young boy or a girl for whose karma or whose sin has born with cerebral palsy, or there is no integrity in the body-mind. So that is the tragedy today. 400 children, can you imagine? And there are different levels of madness and different levels of treatment. But let us not be so pessimistic, etc. Because Vivekananda says, when you see half glass of water, somebody will tell half empty. He is right. Another person will tell half full. He is right. But we have been debating over this, half empty or half full, all over the country last 64 years. But what is the solution for this? Why waste our time half empty or half full? Bring in water and fill it up, have a full glass of water. Fill it up, give it to the man who is starving, who is hungry, who is thirsty, a full glass of water. Paripurna Vyaktitvam. That is why Purnamadaha, Purnamidam, Purna, Purnamudachyate. That is Purna, this is Purna, and when that is Purna is taken out, the Purna remains, the fullness remains. That is holistic management. And to have this holistic management, three things are necessary for anybody, whether it's a newly recruited employee or whether it's the experienced CEO. Number one, he or she is expected to become authentic. Authenticity is a mark of a successful person. Transparency. Without authenticity, a Tendulkar would not have been successful. An Abdul Kalam cannot be successful. Bill Gates cannot be successful. The Vivekananda would not have been successful. Mahatma Gandhi would not have, M.K. Gandhi would not have become Mahatma Gandhi. Because of authenticity, they have become excellent. They have executed that excellence by authenticity. The second important trait is inner grit, the toughness within oneself, the willpower, which can say, I shall drink the ocean. That inner toughness is important. It is compared to the tennis racket of Roger Federer. 12 inches in diameter, that nylon strings are tuned to receive a service of 250 kilometers per hour. And this fellow has to reply it. He cannot just receive it, he has to repay, either as a winner or as a volley. And if you have seen properly, after 1 or 2 games, he will change the racket, because that has lost its grit. Inner grit has to be maintained. That is where yoga, dhyana and atma balam comes. It is a shock absorber. And the third important trait in management, in life, in success is sensitivity. Sensitivity is called empathy. It is not just sympathy. Why iPad is taking so much of load, so many books, 1,000 books it can take? Because the sensitivity, the smallness is accepting the bigness. It's becoming more and more sharper, more and more sensitive, more and more powerful. So these 3 things are the successful personality. Authenticity, inner grit and sensitivity, they are tripod. They are a triangle. You have to manage this. You have to become authentic. Now coming to this important issue of how Vivekananda teaches the modern people, modern management people. Anybody for that matter. Whether a student, a housewife, CEO, the policeman, the commissioner, the prime minister. Anybody and everybody can draw some lesson or the other from that vast reservoir called Swami Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda, some people call him as a spiritual leader. Some people call him as a prophet. Some call him as a social reformer. Some call him as a nationalist. Some call him as a philosopher. Some call him as a yogi. Some call him as an orator by divine right. And some call him as extraordinary, or they cannot measure him. But very few people today have not really understood the management philosophy, management skills and principles which Vivekananda executed when everybody was sleeping. I request all of you to go back to that period where Vivekananda was born, 1860s to 1902. India in a different situation. We were under the British Raj. Calcutta was the capital of the British Empire. 1857, the first revolution was snubbed. Brilliant people were there. Extraordinary minds were there. Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, Raja Ram Mohan Rai, Dayananda Saraswati, so on and so forth. They were world movers, they were great thinkers. But what happened? They lived in their own vision, in their own limited personalities. They were not able to marshal the entire nation into a movement. And the time was right, exactly at the time, to give a master stroke. Vivekananda was born. That was of intense prayer of one mother, who prayed and prayed and prayed for a son who can be different than anybody else. Vivekananda says, it was because of my mother's intense prayer and sadhana for 12 long years that I was born. He was telling the American mothers in a church. And he was educating them. That is what your real motherhood is. Great children are born out of great sadhana, great prayer, great meditation. But he uses a very strong word, in their house. If you don't pray, if you don't lead an ethical life, an integrated life, demons will be born to you. He says, because of my mother, that integrity I got. One lesson, when he was in 7th standard, he got from his mother, who was like a Maharani. Tremendous Shakti, tremendous integrity she had. She said, Naren, my child, be upright. That was the master stroke with young Bhuvaneshwari Devi gave to his son, Narendra. 7th standard, be upright. And when you see Vivekananda's photographs, when you read the detailed life, he never bent his body. Standing straight, sitting straight, talking straight, walking straight, and that straightness made everything right for him. The whole world opened itself towards him. Humorously, one day, the story says that he was walking in New York streets, in Manhattan Street, and he was seeing the telegraph poles. And 2 or 3 American disciples who were with him, they were surprised. Swami, what are you seeing there? Then Vivekananda says, Madam, I am not seeing, my mind is there. It is always upright. It was looking at the peak, not just at the shadow or at the stones or at other things. So Vivekananda learned the lesson of his life, be upright. And throughout his life he maintained that stance, maintained that posture, maintained that attitude. The second lesson he got from his own father. He was seeing his father was a spendthrift. Lot of partying, lot of clients, and he was spending a lot of money, Vishwanath Datta. Vivekananda saw a young man studying in Scottish Church College. Father is spending away money. Unlike any other son, he thought, what is father leaving to me? What is the property that is leaving to me? Straight he went to his father, who was busy studying and discussing with the clients. Father, what are you giving to me as property? I find you are spending away a lot of money. Learned man, a highly educated man, matured personality, Vishwanath Datta, took him in front of a big mirror in his house, shook his shoulder nicely, gave a nice royal shake to his mind and body, and showed him in the mirror, Naren, my child, I have given you this. Stand upon your feet. Don't inherit just your father. Make a living. Make a difference in your life. Then he showed his eyes, I have given you this. I have given you the brain, I have given you the body. Make a living in your life. The second knowledge he got from his father and first from his mother. And then a great change, a great metamorphosis came in his life. A brilliant student of Calcutta. Nobody could stand before him in arguments, in debates. But then one personality changed his life, gave him a new direction. His own Professor William Hastie of Calcutta. He told, if you want to know what ecstasy is, what bliss is, there you find Sri Ramakrishna at Dakshineshwar. Go and see a living saint. Naren thought, all right, let me go. Meet him, talk to him. Let me see what he talks. Reluctantly he went. The very first meeting was a meeting of the old India and the new India. Vivekananda was young, a fresh India, and Ramakrishna was representing the best of the West, best of the old India. The deep spiritual India. The young and the old met, the traditions and the science met, and rest is history. Vivekananda said, if I have got any medicine by which I can forget what all I study, I will be the first one to take the medicine and sit at the feet of this man. Here is a living university. For 5 long years, he learnt and learnt and learnt under the feet of Sri Ramakrishna. 1881, 1886, till his master passed away. That was the real education, real management which Vivekananda learnt. How to manage the resources, how to manage people. And towards the end, last day or a few days before Sri Ramakrishna passed away, he called Naren and showed him a piece of paper. And this Sri Ramakrishna had written in Bengali, Naren Shikha Debe. Naren will teach the world. And he will go from house to house, awaken the consciousness in all people. And this young Naren, 20 years, refused to do that. He said, no, I am not going to do that. I am going to meditate, occasionally come out, eat a little for my physical living, and then go back into meditation. Sri Ramakrishna, the master visionary that he was, he said, any other guru would have been very happy, but not Sri Ramakrishna. You know what he said? What a selfish and an ordinary fellow you are. You want only your happiness, only your own meditation. You don't want to do good to the society. I thought you will become a big banyan tree under which people will come thirsty, tired, exhausted. They will get some rest. They will get some food and sleep and go back charged up. This I am not going to give you as a blessing. I will not allow you to do meditation. I will allow you to do only if you do mother's work. You have to do it. Again the protest, the strong mind of Vivekananda said, no, I am not going to do this. Then again the Guru caught hold of his hand and said, if you are not going to do, your very bones will do it. You have to do mother's work. You have to teach the world. Come out of your meditation. People are suffering. People are in distress. And Sri Ramakrishna transferred all his powers and Narendra becomes a brilliant personality. And the greatness of Swami Vivekananda is not just English, it's not just his oratory, it is not just his handsomeness. It was his first-hand information about India. He was not satisfied with the British giving different remarks about India in the universities. He was not satisfied with what he read and what he had seen. He wanted first-hand information, and then, after assuming the monastic vows, something unique happens in India. That is where real management, real lesson of Vivekananda starts. First, he learned what is India. 4 years, 4.5 years, traveling through every village, almost from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, going deeper and deeper into seeing varieties of India. And then he was confused, he was upset. With the Maharajas on the one side, the British on the other side, the Buddhists on the other side, the Nihilists on the other side, the Vedanta on the other side, it's hodgepodge of India. He said, what has happened to that glorious India? What are we doing? How are we managing the resources? We have been giving ditch water to the people when perennial Ganga is flowing by. His heart melted, and the culmination came at Kanyakumari. Kanyakumari is the climax or the real turning point in Indian history in Vivekananda's life. December 24, 25, 26, 1892, for the first time in Indian history, a sannyasi or religious person not meditating on a god or a mantram or a matam. He is meditating on the past of India, the present of India, and the future of India. He said, for the next 50 years, Mother India shall be our God. Went on weeping and weeping and weeping for 3 full years, for 3 full days. Torrents of tears coming. What can I do for this country? A new purpose, a new vision, a new orientation came to this man. And he writes a very beautiful letter. In modern management, etc., if you want to know how to organize, how to train, how to this, I suggest read the letters of Vivekananda. 700 brilliant letters. From America to India, to Madras, here, there, he gives wonderful inspiration and guidance. And then he writes another letter. Master stroke he gives, sitting on the last bit of Mother India's rock, I hit upon a plan, my dear brother. That plan is to organize a band of young workers, train them up in natural resources, in meditation, in science, technology, and send them like irresistible waves all through the length and breadth of India, preaching the gospel of salvation, the gospel of social raising up, the gospel of equality. This I will do or die. The sannyasi has become a national thinker, nation builder. And then help comes, as some of you might have read his life. The Maharaja of Ramnad, Bhaskar Setupati, advises Vivekananda to go to the west because the Maharaja got information, something wonderful is happening there. And then, what does the leader do? Or what does the organizer do? He doesn't straight away take this one, independent decisions. He makes a consultation. He waited for the right time, his guru's orders. And then his mother's order, Sharada Devi. The blessings come, the message comes, and 1893, May 31st, Vivekananda travels to the West. See, the purpose is important. That is the first lesson which Vivekananda gives to modern people. As far as this purpose is concerned, some of you may be aware of this particular story. I would like to put this in between. Is the purpose with which Mr. Ford manufactured the first car. He saw the vegetables and things in the field were not being able to transport directly to the market in America. So he said, let me manufacture a wagon, a goods wagon, so that my people, my villagers will have a good transport and they will save money, they will save time, and they will save vegetables by being spoiled. So he had only $250 in his pocket. Then the first car by the Ford wagon was manufactured. Then Mr. Ford wanted to take it for a joyride, a test ride. And unfortunately or surprisingly, the car was bigger than the garage door. It could not be brought out. And what did Mr. Ford do? He broke the garage. He broke the walls. He brought the car out and had a wonderful, fantastic test ride. Purpose was served. He was very happy. Then his friend said, let us produce another car. Let us manufacture another car. Another variety. Mr. Ford searched his pockets, not even a penny. All the first investment was on the first car. And people in America say, if that first car would have been kept in an archive, it would have cost billions and billions of dollars. But to serve his purpose, you know what Mr. Ford did? He sold the first car. And with that money, he manufactured a second car. which was much better, much quicker, much faster. And that is how the Ford company started manufacturing cars. But later on there was a slight deterioration in the values. He became his own banker, he became his own businessman, and then the market went down. It went into black. Again the Ford comes back with renewed values, with renewed convictions and mission. So any organization, anything without a purpose would lose the grip, would lose the gravity. I was interacting with the director of IIM Indore. Dr. Ravichandra is a very good friend of mine. He invited me twice or thrice to speak on Vivekananda's philosophy in IIM Indore and in IIM Bangalore, in IIM Ahmedabad. He says, in the last 35 years as IIM Ahmedabad faculty and now the director of IIM Indore, he is sorry to say, he has not met at least 2 or 3 people with their MBA in management skill and education and a degree, who can say with conviction that they will make a difference in their particular region or state. It is just their own personal roti, kapda or makan, nothing else. And what does this IIM management other students do? After spending a lot of time, lot of money, lot of facilities, projects, they go and sell lifebuoy soap. They go and sell a truck. They go and sell some shoes. They land up only as ordinary fellows here and there. But he says, can I make a difference with this management skill in Andhra Pradesh? In the villages of Maharashtra? In the villages of Karnataka? In the villages of Uttar Pradesh? After his penetration, after some change, nowadays there is a tremendous orientation towards the purpose of life. What is the purpose of life? The purpose of life is to lead a life of purpose, a higher purpose, a divine purpose. That is what Swami Vivekananda lived for 39 years. His whole life was for the nation, his whole life was for the world. He had 2 visions. One was national and another was global. As far as the nation is concerned, he wanted the divinity and the dignity of the individual. The masses have to be educated, the masses have to be raised. And for as the nation, solidarity in the universe. Universal religion he wanted. He had his own international policies. He had his own international facility, what they call meetings, with Rockefeller of the time, with Nikola Tesla, with J.N. Tata, with MacLeod, with so many industrialists. He wanted a wonderful chains between India and America, India and Europe. But all this was done, mind you, within 9 years' time. Physically lived for 39 years, but Vivekananda worked only for 9 years. The previous first 30 years was only learning, experience, and then absorption. The 9-year period, 1893, September 11th, July 4th, 1902, when the man said, I am not going to live to see 40. Just 8.5, 9 years. Jagdish Chandra Bose says, can you imagine one man doing so much work? Starting an organization, going like a tsunami towards the West, inspiring them, conquering them, at a time when India was under the British, and starting an organization, a different system, a different movement. When Dayanand Saraswati was there in the Arya Samaj, Keshav Chandra Sen was there in the Brahma Samaj, Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar was there, Surendranath Banerjee was there. India could boast of the brilliant minds. But then he said no, some other new organization, and he started the Ramakrishna mission. How did he get this idea? India was individually great, collectively we were very poor. Sangha Shakti was missing in India at that time. Collective work was missing. And after seeing the success of the West within a very short time, Swamiji fell in love with the power of organization. It's a very important lesson which he learnt in the West. How could America, just 200 years by the time, could become a superpower? Who could create a world parliament of religions? India with 5,000 years, 10,000 years, or India's history is unparalleled? Still backward? Because he said the principles were not applied. Even now we are lacking in that. That is where Ramakrishna Mission and other organizations are trying to do. Application is more important than appreciation. The whole nation was debating whether should I eat, whether should I wash my right hand or with the left hand, whether should I drink the water while eating with the left hand or the right hand. Big scholars debating very petty issues when there were so many things for the country. That is where Vivekananda says he became a world teacher, but not just a teacher with the ordinary foresight. He had a marvelous vision. That's why somebody asked, Swami, you said you will not live to see 40 and you started the freedom movement. Gandhiji is inspired, and in Calcutta everybody was reading Vivekananda and Bhagavad Gita and sacrificing their life. A new awakening had taken place, and who will be the leader? Then Swami Vivekananda said very beautifully, do you think I have gone? My body is going. I will be a voice without a form. I will be a voice without a form. And what I have done for India, he becomes a little emotional at the time. What I have done for India, the Indian youth and the people will learn from me for the next 1500 years. Look at the power of the man, the power of his work, the power of his ideas. 1500 years, 15 centuries, the world will revolve around me. There's no choice. And believe it or not, in the last 100 years or 50 years, what revolution is happening in the name of Swami Vivekananda? How he is penetrating into the nooks and corners of the country with a purpose. Just yesterday I was seeing a small video of the world's youngest headmaster. He became a headmaster of his own school when he is 14 years old. And his name is in the world records. The world's youngest headmaster. Just 14 years old in Murshidabad district in West Bengal. His name is Babar Ali. Deep inside, very poor fellow. Very backward village. You cannot enter into the village without covering your nose. Very backward. But there, Vivekananda entered into his mind and heart. He thoroughly read Vivekananda and he said, the solution for India's problems is education and health. So this I will do for my village. And this he broadcasted. How one Vivekananda goes into the heart of Babar Ali, 14-year-old boy, and he is having today 975 students. And those children are working in fishermen community, in laborers, in all other people. They cannot come for school, so they have evening schools up to night 8 o'clock. How transformation is taking place? So when Vivekananda comes back from America and starts this organization, Vivekananda might not have been schooled in leadership. HMA was not there, AMA was not there, Vadodara Management Association was not there, IAMS were not there. But where did he get these management skills? How did he organize all this? It's a mystery. That's why I said very little work has been done as far as the management skills of Vivekananda is concerned. Thanks to one of our own followers of Vivekananda teachings in Arizona, he made a special study of Vivekananda's management skills of all the 9 volumes of his complete works. And first he did a survey of Vivekananda's findings in Chicago. And to his own shock and surprise, he said, on that eventful day, September 11th, 1893, when Vivekananda in the evening at 3:30 stood up and addressed the World Parliament as Sisters and Brothers of America, and America became stunned to silence, he said, the unknown statistics, before Vivekananda said Sisters and Brothers of America, from morning till 3 o'clock, there were 27 people who addressed the audience as Sisters and Brothers. Nothing happened. There's no change. But here is a man at 30 years taking the essence of India, becoming a condensed India, and addressing the whole world as Sisters and Brothers of America. 7,000 people standing up at 3 minutes, deafening applause. Vivekananda did not start his speech. They do not know him. He does not know them. Before that, he was sleeping in a railway wagon, in a goods wagon in Chicago station, without food, without clothing, without shelter. This is not a point to appreciate or adore Vivekananda. I want you to understand what was the power behind the man which is still working and whose lessons we are drawing today in management. It was because of his spiritual power, because of his purity. The CEO has to have tremendous Shakti, purity inside him, otherwise he cannot sit. I was reading Reader's Digest last year, and I found to my surprise that a CEO in Bombay, After doing his MBA in Chicago University, becomes the CEO of a very big company, gets about 5 lakhs per month salary, and after 3 days, what is the stunning thing is, the nameplate which is on his table, he turns it towards himself. The front side is blank. The PA comes and surprise changes it when he is not there. This man comes, sits in the seat and changes the nameplate towards himself. And the PA is surprised and shocked. Sir, what is this? The nameplate should be for the visitor who is coming inside. That is the convention as you have put it here. He said, Madam, I know it is wrong. But sitting in this hot seat, by 5 o'clock, I am forgetting who I am. I am forgetting who I am. At least by knowing Mr. So-and-so, by reading the name, I understand that I am related to somebody. In the house, my wife is shocked. I give appointment to my children. I act like a manager there, or a CEO there. That doesn't work. I am forgetting myself. And a CEO earning 5 lakhs. Highly educated, MBA in Chicago University. The hallmark of any successful person, Vivekananda says, is his authenticity and self-knowledge. If he doesn't have self-knowledge, he is not worth sitting there. Vivekananda is successful, it is because of his self-knowledge. M.K. Gandhi, as you know, thrown out of the train in South Africa, he thought for himself with tremendous conviction, today you threw me out of the train, tomorrow I will throw you out of the country. That was his turning point in his life. His freedom movement started in South Africa. When Vivekananda was walking in Chicago, walking in Madras, walking in Calcutta, walking in the Himalayas, tremendous Shakti, tremendous self-knowledge. That is why he said, any organization before it becomes successful, he wanted training of the young minds, young employees. Training in basic resources. Training in mind control, training in infrastructure, training in money power, training in handling people. That is why 1897 when he started the organization, he personally was training his own disciples. He was giving personal attention to them. From the time they wake up till the time they go to bed. He was giving personal attention, doing personal seva. And this seva was not just as a leader, not just as an executive, not just as a founder of an organization, but as a servant leader. There was one disciple, he was a railway station master in Hathras in Madhya Pradesh. The day he saw Vivekananda's eyes, he felt, he did Shastanga Namaskaram and said, Swamiji, I am following you. Vivekananda said, I will accept you as my disciple if you answer 3 questions of mine. Look at the conviction of the leader and how he is accepting the newly recruited people. Interview started there. He said, his name was Sharat. Name I am forgetting. Later he became Swami Sadananda. He said, my dear child, I order you now to jump into the Ganga and catch the crocodile by the mouth and bring it to me. Will you be able to do it? And Vivekananda was watching, the piercing eyes of Vivekananda was watching the reaction in the mind of the young Sadananda. There is no hesitation, there is no winking, there is no cold blood. Vivekananda said, yes, I know you will do it, but you need not do it. Can you take these vegetables which are being produced in this field to the market, sell them this moment and bring them the profit to me? Now, you are the station master, but you have to sell the vegetables. Can you do it? Yes, came the answer from Sadananda. Can you just take your towel and come with me this moment? Without hesitation, without looking back? Yes, came the answer from this young station master. And this Sadananda is walking in the Himalayas with Swami Vivekananda. He did not have the habit of walking. See how a leader, a guru, a elderly person, or one who has taken the responsibility will help the youngsters, will help the organization later on. Sadananda could not walk. Vivekananda was sitting on a horse, a small pony. The lesson that we learn here is, Vivekananda saw the difficulty of his young disciple. He got down from his horse, made the disciple sit on the horse and carried his slippers. The disciple cried. He said, Master, it is for me to do. And Vivekananda said, did not Christ wash the feet of his disciples? Cannot I take little of your responsibility? You have sacrificed everything for my sake or for India's sake. Cannot I do this for you? And 1971, Harvard University Professor Greenleaf is speaking about servant leadership. Vivekananda executed servant leadership even before the world awoke. Servant leadership is not just book knowledge. And Vivekananda learned about servant leadership from Bhagavan Sri Krishna. That Bhagavan Sri Krishna, who is recommended in a book called The Oriental Civilization, a book of 3,000 pages by Will Durant of Oxford University. He wrote 12 volumes on world history. The first book is about India and about Asia. He said India has produced two statesmen, two greatest managers. One is Bhagavan Sri Krishna and another is Bhishmacharya. Vivekananda learned the lessons from them. He penetrated deep into the Indian psyche, into the philosophy, into the psychology, into the scriptures, and what he presented is entirely different. So number one, what I'm going to tell you just another few minutes is, any amount of theoretical knowledge one may have, but unless one does the thing actually, nothing is learnt. So the manager, the leader in any particular organization does the work first. 1898, the greatest lesson that Indian learnt was the famine or the plague in Calcutta in West Bengal. People were dying like worms. The British were not taking care. Situation was very, very bad. There was an exodus of people running away. The one who conquered the whole world by his spiritual power, he saw drains blocked, latrines blocked. There was no hygiene. There was no other system for the people, for the poor people. Vivekananda did not talk. He took a bucket, took a spade, took a broomstick and started cleaning the latrines in Calcutta. People thought that the municipality has come and started cleaning. They were very happy. But when they opened their doors or the windows and peeped out, they saw Vivekananda, who conquered America. He is washing or cleaning the drains and latrines. And they came and said, Swamiji, we will do. Why are you doing? Swamiji said humorously and little seriously, if you want to do, take another broomstick, another bucket and learn from me how to do it. You are hiding your face in shame. When your own brothers and sisters were dying like worms out of plague and cholera in your own neighborhood, and now you tell, I want to do. What happened to your heart? What happened to your thinking? You are hiding your face. He opened up a new form of service. A new purpose of life was transmitted to the people. That is where he said, we will do great things. He writes in a letter, Swami Vivekananda. We will do great things for the world, and that for the sake of doing good and not for name and fame. The hallmark of Swami Vivekananda is this. The greatness of Swami Vivekananda is this. He said, gutter water called name and fame, I spit on it. He could have had the whole world in his feet, in his hands. He could have become one of the America's presidents also. But he said, no, I have come in the name of the masses of India. I have now come in the name of the millions of India and the richness of India. This I cannot accept. And what exactly is seva? What exactly is organization? What exactly is ownership? Swami Vivekananda, for the first time in his life, he transformed the ideology of one of America's greatest people called John F. Rockefeller. This Rockefeller, the most richest man at the time, he heard of Swami Vivekananda's greatness. He wanted to meet him. But he did not wait for an appointment. He just walked into Swami Vivekananda's study room. Swamiji was busy writing letters to India. And he did not look at Rockefeller at all. He did not even look at him. He was bending and writing and reading. Rockefeller waited for 2 minutes. His ego was too much. He said, I'm waiting here since 2 minutes. He said, yes, I know. And Rockefeller, do you know who I am? Vivekananda said, yes, I know. Not only who you are now, your past lives also I know. Tell me what you know. Without raising his head, Vivekananda told the most deepest secrets which even his family members did not know. He said, stop it, stop it, stop it. But Vivekananda gave a beautiful punch to Rockefeller. He said, Mr. Rockefeller, what you think is your own, your profits is not yours. You are only a trustee. You are not the owner. It belongs to people. Somebody talking to John F. Rockefeller in that language, he could not bear it. He turned in disgust and walked out of the room. But Vivekananda's mantra, the seed was working in his brain. After 3 days, the same fellow comes back. He throws a check on Vivekananda's table, $10,000 at the time, and said, Swami, I think you will be happy now. Thank me for giving this donation. Vivekananda did not lift his head. He took the check and put it in his pocket and said, Mr. Rockefeller, it is for you to thank me for receiving it. That was Rockefeller's turning point in his life. It is for you to thank me for receiving it. If I am not there, to whom would you have given charity? The Rockefeller Foundation started with $10,000 first charity. And later on, research was made. Bill Gates Foundation, I do not know how many of you know this, came into being after Bill Gates studied Swami Vivekananda's Karma Yoga lectures. You are not a owner, you are the trustee. Give back to nature what you have got. Otherwise, nature will take it back with heavy tax. Bill Gates understood, unlike our people who care only to pay tax or land up in Tihar jail, Bill Gates understood Vivekananda's Karma Yoga. Give back to nature, give back to nature. Otherwise, nature will catch you by your throat and make you open. That will be a very painful giving. A very painful giving. Give with joy. The Rockefeller Foundation was started with Swami Vivekananda's inspiration. Later on, so many people started these foundations and made a change because we have to give back to nature. Every successful man is another important point from Swami Vivekananda. Every successful man must have behind him somewhere tremendous integrity, sincerity, and that is the cause of his signal success in life. He may not be a perfectly unselfish person, yet he is tending towards it, he is moving towards it. That is how an organization has to work. That is how Ramakrishna Mission is working last 114 years. I met one dean of IIM Bangalore by name Dr. Mahadevan. We took him to one of our training institutes in Coimbatore. That institute started 75 years ago. A boy who joins as an LKG can come out as a PhD. A total educational university like Oxford in India. Silent work is going on. This IIM Dean, Dr. Mahadevan, was thrilled and said, in no management school we can teach so much of integrity in education, from LKG to PhD. And this done with so much of silence, so much of fragrance and so much of integrity. Amazing. He said, I will tell all my management students to learn about this way to work. And my dear friends, let me tell you another example of this particular point which Vivekananda writes in a letter. There is a industry started in 1981 in Belgaum by a mechanical engineer from IIT Kharagpur by name Dr. Hundre. Later on he did his PhD. And did this Hundre, just like any other businessman, 18,000 rupees it started with his 4 partners. 1999, till that time he was just like any other industrialist, small scale industry. Came across Vivekananda's teachings of Karma Yoga and India and development, personality, etc. He thought for himself, this is something very practical, very interesting. Let me implement this and see what Vivekananda can do for us. He requested his people, 3 partners, to give the manufacturing unit of the factory to work to him. It was agreed, contract was signed, and today he is owning the manufacturing side, the production side, the sales, marketing, etc. by the other 3 partners. What did Vivekananda want in an industry, in a factory, in a management? First he said, all the workers have to be healthy. Medical leave, casual leave, A leave, B leave, M leave should reduce. And somebody told me, India is second in the country having number of leaves in a working year. We work only for 150 days. And 200 days we enjoy leave and we add towards it. And we want to reduce the working time also. But since the people's health is very good, they are not taking any leave. Why? Because all the workers, from the watchman to the chairman, do gymnasium or yogasanas compulsory. Mind you, two of the workers, a very poor family workers, I have seen them personally, after doing the gymnasium for 6 months, 8 months, 1 year sincerely, they became Karnataka bodybuilding champions, weightlifting champions. To that level they were taken. First health, the physical side. Vivekananda wanted the emotional stability, interpersonal skills. So the best way to develop interpersonal skills is to have meditation and concentration together. So he changed the infrastructure of the factory. And if anybody goes today, you have to go through what is called a Dhyana Mandir, a meditation hall. Chairman to the watchman, 200 of them meditate every day together at 8:30 in the morning till 9 o'clock, and then there's a soft music, and when they listen to the music, they go to the place of work, which is a temple, which is like a temple for them. They are Christians, they are Muslims, they are Hindus, they are other people, other communities, everybody sitting together. He brought about a team spirit there. Each meditates or prays according to his traditions. There's nothing else, you have to do only this. But you have to sit there, you have to be there as a team, as a community. And later on, after 1999 till 2011, the profits of Dr. Hundre's polyhydron industries has been increasing at 40% per annum consistently. Last year, Mr. Hundre personally told me, I paid 8 crores income tax. There are some people who tempted me, who said, why don't you manipulate? Why don't you change at 30th March? Straight comes his conviction, his integrity. He said, this money belongs to the nation. It has to go. I have delivered the purpose, I've got the profit, and this money has to go to the government back. And he is doing it. And today, if you go to Belgaum and ask an auto driver to take you to polyhydron industries, nobody will know. If you ask an auto driver, please take me to business ashrama, industrial town area, he will take you in 15 minutes. Today it is called business ashrama. And the administrative block, it is not an administrative block for accounts or auditing or for something else. A huge board, a clear board is put there, the temple of ethics. The temple of ethics on one side and this temple of manufacturing on the other side. Why? 4 yogas Swami Vivekananda wanted in every industry, in every organization, in everybody's life. Yoga number 1, Karma Yoga. All of you are working people, those students, you may be working in the future, do it as a sacrifice, do it as a yagna. There is a wonderful philosophy of Karma Yoga, authentic philosophy which Vivekananda gave. Everything in the universe is going in a cyclic motion. It is called rhythm in Upanishads. In English it became rhythm. And how does this rhythm maintain? Because of the dharma. Dharma in a person, dharma in a family, dharma in an industry, dharma in management maintains that rhythm in the society, in the country. If dharma is not practiced, then the rhythm will break. Then what is the net result? Only corruption, only malpractices, only personal problems and chaos. So Karma Yoga is a philosophy of action. Why does a man commit a crime? 3rd chapter, 37th shloka, Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna asks a question. In the Karma Yoga chapter, straight comes Swami Bhagavan Shri Krishna's answer. Kama yesha krodha yesha rajoguna samudbhavaha. This is a wonderful example in modern management today. Why does a man commit a crime? Why does somebody do a mistake? It is because of kama and krodha. And where do these two fellows come from? They come from one's own nature called rajoguna samudbhavaha. You and I are a combination of 3 gunas, tamas, rajas and sattva. Permutation and combination of these 3 is our daily life. So kama and krodha enter and it pushes me to do a crime. I don't hesitate to kill somebody. I don't hesitate to forge a check because my purpose of life is gone. So by Karma Yoga what happens? From tamas to rajas, from rajas to sattva, the mind is elevated and work in the initial stages, there will be a big difference. Mr. Rameshji was pointing out work is worship, but in the beginning it is only work and worship. Work is different. What I do in the temple or the church or the mosque is different. But when you practice these Karma Yoga teachings, after 6 months, inevitably, if you are sincere, if you are really working towards that, your attitude will change from and to as. Now please read the sentence. Work as worship. There is an attitudinal change in your approach towards work. And after 6 months, if you are continuing, if you are persevering with your sadhana, the as will be replaced as is. A total conviction takes place. It is a metamorphosis. The caterpillar becoming a butterfly. The Karma Yoga can give you wonderful peace, strength and energy to go forward in your life. The second yoga, which everybody has to practice, manager, executive, peon, clerk, housewife, is Gnana Yoga, self-knowledge. That is where the Upanishads come in. Vivekananda says, I have not taught anything other than the Upanishads. I have just put them into modern forms. Today we speak about CSR, corporate social responsibility. But what is that exactly that you are going to do? I call a man traitor who, having been educated at their expense, does not pay the least heed to them. Look at the language there. Isha vasya vidam sarvam. I have to give back to nature what I have got. I don't want to exploit nature. I will give something to nature when the nature is giving to me. That is the Gnana Yoga, relationship with nature. Vivekananda says, the beautiful experience of the great masters is this. Everything is, nature is following the path of knowledge. Knowledge alone makes you perfect. It is not book knowledge. It's not politics. It's not just degrees. It is self-knowledge, Atma Gnana. But from childhood upwards, what is our training today in life? From childhood upwards, it is only training of the external mechanism. I know more about the computer, I don't know about my mind. As a result, the internal mechanism is totally blocked. So self-knowledge is the hallmark of a great leader, which Vivekananda executed and expected his disciples also to practice it, and said, each one of you should become greater than me, manifest that divinity within. And this self-knowledge, he broadcasted without fear, without hesitation in the West. In Chicago, September 19, 1893, speaking about Indian values, Indian culture, he said, I close my eyes and say my personal pronoun, I. To whom am I addressing this I? Am I a combination of material substances? Am I tiny boat in a tempest, drawn into the yawning chasm one moment and thrown over the high billows, the other moment a wreck in nature? Is that all myself? Yes, physically I am. A tsunami came. In 10 minutes, all of us know, 2004, it changed the map of Southeast Asia. A tsunami came, it changed the map of Japan. In front of nature, I and you are zeros. But the Rishi said, the scripture said, Vivekananda says, no, you are not a tiny body-mind complex, you are the spirit living in the body. A tremendous Shakti will come unto us when we enter our office. When a teacher with the self-knowledge entering into the classroom with self-knowledge, what an amount of strength he will radiate. It's not just book knowledge. It is not just from, he is good in history or physics or mechanical engineering. He has got self-knowledge. Shake off the delusion that you are sheep. You are lion, spirits, immortal. Allow me to call you brethren by the sweet name, children of immortal bliss. And that one particular stanza called Amritasya Putraha was taken by one school teacher in Maharashtra by name Panduranga Shastri Atwale. He is much senior to Anna Hazare. This Panduranga Shastri Atwale, what a revolutionary movement he has started. Ordinary school teacher. He was given a multinational company job in the United States and Japan. But for the sake of the fisherman community in Maharashtra coast, he sacrificed all his personal comforts. And inspired by Vivekananda, inspired by this word called Amritasya Putraha, he said, let me do something for the masses of India. And straight he goes to Arabian Sea coast, and there the Machwaras, who were drunkards, who were exploited, who had all sorts of problems. If 10 fishermen go into the Arabian Sea, only 2 or 3 would come back. All other 7 would be killed or murdered. Streets and streets of widows. But this young man goes there and says, you are not Machwaras, you are Samudra Putras. Amritasya Putraha, he converted into Samudra Putras, children of the sea. Then the ladies, the fisherwomen, their daughters, he said, you are Samudra Kanyas. They got a new dignity. They got a new identity. And he started impressing them about values, about integrity, about profit, about nature, everything. Today Panduranga Shastri Advale has gone. He is no more there. But when you go to Maharashtra sea coast, up to Porbandar, every Sunday, hundreds and hundreds of fishermen and women, their children, they listen to the Marathi lectures of Bhagavad Gita and Upanishads and others by this schoolmaster called Panduranga Shastri Advale. Sahaya Parivar movement is started. Today it has got members of 10 lakh families. Sahaya Parivar. And my dear friends of different backgrounds and management people, if Anna Hazare is Anna Hazare today with full of conviction and strength and power, I do not know how many know the fact that this very Anna Hazare, when he was 26 years old, wanted to commit suicide. He wanted to die, and he went to Delhi railway station and stood on the overbridge and wanted to jump. At any moment the engine would come. But fortunately for India, that day all trains were late. And it saved one great personality called Anna Hazare from committing suicide. Restless, always listening only that trains are late. He was walking on the platform. He came across the bookshop. An attractive picture, an attractive book was catching his eyes. It was just 1 rupee book. He purchased that book, sat on the railway station platform. It was an 80-page Hindi translation of what is called Vivekananda's teachings. He went on reading and reading. He forgot completely about dying. And he opened his eyes, lifted his head and saw Delhi to Mumbai Express. Purchased an unreserved ticket, entered the train, and the rest is history. The one sentence of Swami Vivekananda changed his life. They alone live who live for others. The rest are more dead than alive. Anna Hazareji thought, 26-year-old man thought, what a selfish fellow I am. For my own depression and weakness, I thought I will die, I will take away my life. Look at what Vivekananda is telling, we should give life, not just take life. And he straight goes to Ralegaon Siddhi, and the ordinary village, unknown village, today is in the map of the world. He has made it a fertile village by the young people, by the villagers themselves into self-employment schemes. What Vivekananda taught Anna Hazare. He himself said, if Vivekananda would not have this one, I would have become a nobody in my life. Time and again Vivekananda books he read. More and more of it is read. And he said, what I am doing is right. Vivekananda is telling me. But he said one important thing, the lesson that he learned from Swami Vivekananda's teachings. If anybody has to be successful, and in the interview, he said it with a lot of pain. Because he saw in Jantar Mantar, he saw in Ramlila grounds, all the youngsters and people all over the country wearing the caps with the slogan, Main Anna Hazare Hoon. But this very Anna Hazare was not happy with that. He said, my dear children, Main Anna Hazare Hoon, cap mein nahi hona chahiye, tumhara dil mein hona chahiye. Tab to tum Anna Hazare hoga. सिर्फ कैप में होने से कैप तो निकाल देंगे, कैप तो वॉश कर देंगे, वो तो धोखा होगा. You are cheating yourself. But he advises, if you want to do something for India, if you have a purpose in life, study Vivekananda. That was Anna Hazare's request to the youth of India. And it will be interesting to know, after Anna Hazare announced this in Ramlila Maidan, all the bookshops selling from Vivekananda's life only 1 copy per month, within 2 days, thousands of copies were sold. And then Anna Hazare says, what he learned is 3 things. Sad Vichar, Sad Achar, Nishkalank Jivan. If these 3 are not there, you cannot do anything for your company or for India. Sad Vichar, Sad Achar, Nishkalank Jivan. Till you die, nobody should point out a black mark on your white shirt. Nishkalank Jivan hona chahiye. Swamiji meant this. He executed this in our organization and made people work over this. Lastly, let me just conclude. a wonderful survey was made. And in America, there are different levels of leadership. Level 1, level 2, level 3 up to level 5 by Jim Collins. The survey says, if Vivekananda would have been alive, he would not have been even in this 5, he would have been above this 5. Because the 5th one is all about execution. He is all about entrepreneurship. He is all about an executive at the topmost level. What does he do? The level 5 of leadership, according to Jim Collins, says, yes, the leader builds enduring greatness through a paradoxical blend of personal humility and professional willpower. I repeat, the leader builds enduring greatness through a paradoxical blend of personal humility and professional willpower. When we read Swami Vivekananda's life and lessons and his training of his youngsters, training of the juniors of the country, all these fit in there. He was a leader par excellence. Then, enduring greatness, as I said, 1500 years I will be working in India, I will be in this voice without a forum. Then the next part is paradoxical blend of personal humility and professional willpower. So there are many more issues which need to be tackled. It's a very vast ocean, very vast topic called Vivekananda's lessons itself will go on and on and on at every stage. All these have been put into a book forum, as I told you, by one of our followers of Vivekananda's teachings by name Asim Chowdhury. He has specifically worked on Vivekananda's leadership qualities, and along with his letters and along with his lectures in India, I request all of you to read 2 books of Swami Vivekananda. One is Lectures from Colombo to Almora, for India, in India. After coming back from America, Colombo in Sri Lanka to Almora, he went round like a tsunami avalanche all over the country. 25 lectures are there in a book form. The second is the letters of Vivekananda from the time he went to America and came back to India. These 2 are masterpieces of execution and of leadership. So these 2 will help. All these have to be condensed in a book form called My India, the India Eternal. My India, the India Eternal. Na Bharatam, Amara Bharatam. Vivekananda asked a question, shall India die? If India dies, the whole world will die. But my India will never die. He becomes very ecstatic about it and says, if India dies, all spirituality in the world will be extinct. All morality will be extinct. All sweet-souled sympathy will be extinct. And in its place will reign the duality of lust and luxury as the male and female deities, money as its priest, fraud, force and computation its ceremonies. Human soul is sacrificed, but such a thing can never be. India will never die. So let us work with Vivekananda's inspiration and blessings. This 150 years since his birth. Next year, that means 2012 January till 2014 January, 2 years of intense celebrations. And I request all of you to take this seriously, study, meditate and implement Swami Vivekananda's teachings. May he bless us and make our life blessed. Thank you very much.
Thank you for inspiring speech and blessing. Now Vice President Ms. Hema Jain would like to share her thoughts. She would like to respond.
Good evening, everybody. I wouldn't want to repeat any of his words because that would be belittling what he and Swami Vivekananda has given to all of us. However, here we would make a vow, and I'm sure HMA and everybody here would accept that we would be more than willing to participate with all of you for the next 2 years and see how we can make some more gems for this country to make it what it should be.